Hello, it is April 20th, 2023. It is a beautiful sunny day here in Pittsburgh, you're in Pittsburgh. I'm in Steubenville, Ohio. I assume it's a beautiful sunny day there in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania as well, though. This is no buts about it. If you happen to find your way here from the Pat McAfee show since he canceled his show today and you're just looking for your fix, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, please. If you happen to be a returning guest and you've never hit subscribe, go ahead and hit subscribe. It helps us out. It's a nice thing to do. Also, we've got a new segment that we're working on, and if you go on over to the Instagram nobuts_show, you'll see a little part of that. But we're gonna have a fun little thing coming up this season where we bring in a guy who's never watched football before, who has learned everything he knows about football from this show, and he's going to give us his takes on how his team that he has chosen to root for is doing. But that's not today. That will be happening in the near future. Today, we're going to catch up on the news that happened this past week with some moves were made, some surprises, I'd say. Starting with Chuss's favorite team and my least favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Brought in a new guy. That was Chuss clapping for the people who aren't on YouTube.
Yeah, I started clapping because, Josh hates the Steelers, so I have to applaud them even more. It makes me, it reminds me of, I know this kid, he goes up to school up in Massachusetts or somewhere in that area. And he is he's a Steelers fan, and they're all Patriots fans up there, and they all hate him, but he loves the hate. So
because he's a Steelers fan. Well,
yeah.
Allen Robinson from the LA Rams. Rams needed to clean some cap space up, so they went ahead and traded Robinson over to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Rams got a 7th round pick, pick 234, and the Steelers got a 7th round pick, which is pick 251, and Allen Robinson. And then as far as payment goes, the Rams still owe Allen Robinson $10.5 million, whereas the Steelers will only be paying Robinson $5 million this season. I have my opinions about the trade. What do you think about the trade? Is this a good move for the Steelers?
I think it's beneficial. I mean, I'm not real sure about the player himself, Allen Robinson, just because, I mean, he hasn't shown a whole lot in LA. I mean, he did really well in Chicago. He had times where, like, he was very good. But in LA, he kind of at times seemed like he wasn't producing to that maximum capacity that he possibly could have. For him to come to the Steelers, I think is a good move on our part. But the reason I think it's a good move is just because we didn't give a whole lot up for him. We're not taking a lot of his contract. Not only did we only give up a 7th round pick for him, but we also got another 7th round pick in return and the player. And they're also retaining like a decent bit of the salary. So in a way, I think we really won out on that trade, because even if Allen Robinson's a bust, it's not like it costed us like a 3rd round pick or something like that. It wasn't like it was something unbelievably bad or we lost a player from it or something along those lines. You're taking a risk, and he is 29 and he could be really good or he could just be mid. But I think adding that, a little bit more of an experienced guy into the mix on top of Deontay Johnson and stuff. I mean, Deontay Johnson's a little younger than Robinson, but I think adding like a 29-year-old guy can help, like even like Pickens or some of these other like 4th, 5th, and 6th string wide receivers coming in. So I think it's a good trade. I mean, I don't know about the player yet, but just because of his stat line, but I don't think it's a bad trade. I think Omar Khan knows what he's doing. I think let him cook.
Yeah, so I like this trade for the Steelers. I hate it for the Rams. I don't know what the Rams are doing other than they're desperate to clear cap space. I mean, they still owe $10.5 million. They're paying more for a guy who's not even on their team anymore than you guys are paying for him to be on your team and play. Like you said, that locker room presence with George Pickens, Deontay Johnson both being somewhat younger guy. Deontay Johnson is 2019, so he's kind of past that young age. But George Pickens definitely being a guy who hasn't been in the league for a long time now. You've got this guy, Allen Robinson, who was drafted in 2014. He's been in the league for almost a decade, and he has had a couple thousand-yard seasons. He was definitely a top name for a good while there, especially when he was with the Jaguars and the Bears, as you mentioned. So having a former second round pick on your team for only $5 million and a seventh rounder, where you only drop back 20 spots in the last round, like, I mean, that's
Yeah,
not going to be a
it's
big deal. You're not losing anything.
yeah, and like I said, it wasn't like it was like a first or a second or any of those top, day one, day two picks. Like you're talking, oh, excuse me, you're talking like last day, last hour of the draft. So I mean, like I think it's a great trade, on the Steelers' point. But like I said, as for the player himself, I mean, you're not losing a whole lot. I mean, even if, like I said, even if A Rob ends up not playing well for the Steelers, you're not losing a whole lot. But if he ends up playing great, you got him for a steal. And plus, like, there's players that like the Steelers are looking to draft in the draft, such as like Parker Washington. There's like players and stuff that they've talked about drafting that are also wide receivers that might actually benefit from having like an Allen Robinson mentor, who, A Rob might be slowing down a little bit in the next couple of years, or he already is slowing down. We'll wait and see how he plays with the Steelers. But if he slows down a little bit, he might be that really good mentor for those like upcoming wide receivers that they drafted or might have picked up off of, just free agency leftovers or undrafted free agents or whatever.
I mean, yeah, like I said, seventh round, like, people are going to be like, oh, that could be Brock Purdy. Yeah, it could, or it could be some random guy who you're never going to hear about again. I mean, realistically, you could have traded Stetson Bennett for Allen Robinson, and you guys don't need a
Yeah.
Stetson Bennett. No one, Stetson Bennett might go undrafted, so
Yeah,
you're
it's
not,
not.
you're not losing out. I don't on anything. Maybe like a third string running back or something, but
But even then, like we could really just pick one up off of. I mean,
pick
Austin Eckler was an undrafted free agent. Look at how good
exactly.
he's doing. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's. I mean, and I'm not saying that happens with everybody, but I mean, like at some case scenarios, you probably have better luck just getting an undrafted free agent anyway than just worrying about
James
drafting like a player.
Robinson was undrafted. Adam Thielen undrafted. Austin Eckler, like you mentioned. So there's a lot of big names like you're kind of working with in that area. Like more draft picks is more helpful, but I don't think you lost anything here. I think the Rams lost everything.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean the Rams have been just there's just been something going on. The problem is Omar Khan, like the GM that we have currently, he knows how to make deals that benefit his team. And the problem is like if in a situation where the LA Rams, I feel like their head office right now is just in shambles right now, trying to figure out what the heck they're going to do for their team. I think Omar Khan just went and just fleeced it. It's just like, we'll do this, and they're like, deal, just do it.
they're
Let's just do
they're
it.
desperate. They're like, is Sean
Yeah.
McVay retiring? Is Aaron Donald retiring? Is Matthew Stafford retiring? Are we even going to be a franchise anymore? What is going on in LA? Nobody knows. No, well, somebody knows, but we don't know. It's crazy. They won a Super Bowl and then collapsed. That's what happened.
I mean, we were expecting that. Yeah, that's what happens when you buy a Super Bowl.
True. Yeah, Bengals were robbed. um. So next big news piece from the past week was Jalen Hurts. He was the first quarterback from the 2020 draft to be given a new contract.
Hmm.
Pretty decent contract, I'd say. He's got an agent, Nicole Lynn. She was the first black agent to represent a quarterback in the Super Bowl, I believe. And now I believe that there was something else she just reset with this, but Agent Nicole Lynn was making some history with this contract. But $255 million, 5-year deal, 180 million guaranteed for a guy who just went to the Super Bowl, got second. And I believe when I can't remember who texted who first about the Jalen Hurts signing. I can't remember if you texted me or if I texted you.
I
But
think you texted me
okay,
about it because I heard about it, but then I don't remember. I think it was you. I'm pretty sure
I
it was
just
you. Because the only
just
thing I
remember
texted about
seeing
you this weekend was that one of the linebackers requested a trade down in Tampa.
Buda
Yeah,
Baker,
yeah, and you just didn't
but
respond to it. So I was just like, what?
I think I
I was like,
responded.
Buda Baker requested a trade, and you didn't respond. Well,
I
you
meant to
were away
respond.
that weekend. You
I
were in
meant to
Ohio.
respond.
You were in
Oh,
Columbus.
okay. Oh yeah. Anyway, um, so this trade happens. I texted you and I was like, cries in Joe Burrow
Yeah, I
because
remember that. Yeah.
Joe Burrow is going to, I assume, get more money. I have a new conspiracy.
Okay.
I have a new conspiracy about why the Bengals have not announced the Joe Burrow contract. And it is because the NFLPA hates it when their star players take pay cuts because it like lowers the ceiling on the market. I'm thinking, I'm got my gears turning here. Joe Burrow's going to take that pay cut, but first he wants to kind of lessen the attack the NFLPA has on him. So he's going to let Herbert and Hurts sign their contracts first. Then he's going to come out and be like, okay, I'm taking less than both those guys. I don't know what that's going to look like, but that's my conspiracy I got up in my head until I'm proven wrong. Um,
I
Otherwise, Joe Burrow's going to
go
make like
ahead.
300 million.
Go ahead, man. Yeah. I'm not gonna say either way because I feel like no matter what, it's gonna stay in your head. So I mean,
Well,
even if I tell you yes or no,
because Joe Burrow's contract was being projected at 214 million 4 years. This is 255 million for 5 years for Hertz, which is roughly it's close to around the same thing.
close enough. Yeah.
There is not a universe in the world where Jalen Hurts makes more money than Joe Burrow. I can see Jalen Hurts making more money than Herbert because Herbert hasn't had a postseason success yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see Jalen Hurts getting paid more than Joe Burrow unless Joe Burrow takes a pay cut.
We'll see.
But 180 million guaranteed. Now, so we've got that. We've got Jalen Hurts, been to a Super Bowl, 180 million guaranteed.
What if Joe
Then like
Burrow sucks this year? What if he
you know
throws
though,
10 touchdowns and 64 interceptions?
64 interceptions. That's
Yeah, like
like
what would happen?
if I think if Joe Burrow gets to the point where he's throwing that many interceptions, he won't even be in the game anymore.
Yeah, probably
Like
not.
that's what is let's do some math on that real quick.
64
64
interceptions?
divided by why 64 divided by 17 is 4 interceptions a game. They're not going to
Yeah.
let him. Yeah, that's insane. But my point was, Ian Rappaport came out and he said on Pat McAfee's show, the Ravens have made a move. They want Lamar. They're going to keep Lamar around, and they have allegedly offered him $200 million guaranteed to stay with the team.
Really?
200 million guaranteed, which is $20 million more than Jalen Hurts, who has been to the Super Bowl. And they just brought in Odell, who allegedly, I believe this was also reported by Rappaport, Lamar said, hey, Baltimore, if you guys bring in Odell and D-Hop, we'll talk. And the Ravens were like, hey, Lamar, you want a ridiculous amount of money. No way we're getting both those guys. Pick one. And they ended up getting Odell. So Odell is a Raven on a huge contract, $15 million guaranteed. So now Lamar allegedly has this offer, 200 million guaranteed. I presume there's incentives with that. Would you give, if you are the Baltimore Ravens and you see that this guy who just went to the Super Bowl got 180 million guaranteed, are you still giving Lamar Jackson, who doesn't have a good postseason record, 200 million guaranteed?
No, I would not. I don't think he's I don't think he's worth that much, to be honest. I mean, I think that, if like Baltimore had been in like the playoff picture and like the Super Bowl contending position for like the last 4 years with Lamar, yeah, maybe. Maybe. I mean, these guys that are like up for contract this year, other than like Herbert, like Jalen Hurts, he lost the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow lost the Super Bowl. Like, I mean, it's sad. Like, yes, I know it sucks that they both lost, but like honestly, the fact that they made it there in their age range is pretty impressive, no matter what anybody says, or what kind of team they had around them. Like, you're a quarterback and you made it there, and that's sick. My thing is, like, with this, is that Lamar Jackson didn't start this past postseason game against the Bengals.
Right.
Did he start the game in 20? I don't even remember like how many games he is. He 0-1, 0-2. Has he? I know he's been hurt for like 4 postseason games. I swear. Like I just don't know. You
He's
know.
1-3 in the playoffs with a total of 4 total touchdowns and 7 turnovers.
See, like that's not good. Like,
And that's including his MVP season as well, I believe. Because I was in 2019. I remember they had benched Flacco or something, and
yeah,
he sucked in his playoff game, and the fans were like yelling to put Flacco back in. And one of the players, I think it was Marcus Peters, went over and was like, or Marlon Humphrey or someone went over and was like, "Hey, no, Lamar got us here. We're riding with Lamar no matter what." Which
yeah,
respect to him, respect to that player. But yeah, he has a 1-3 postseason history. Burrow's been in the league 3 seasons now, really. He won his second. Went to the Super Bowl in his second season, and he managed to get a. He's gotten more playoff wins than Lamar already. He's 5-1 in the playoffs, not including the Super Bowl.
yeah. Only losing this past what season?
Yeah, the 2 playoff games he's lost were the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Well, I'm okay with that as a fan.
That's impressive though. That's impressive. The fact that your team's making it that far 2 years in a row is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like compared to Baltimore, who's like, oh yeah, Lamar Jackson is the greatest thing since sliced bread, coming into the freaking postseason, losing in the first divisional round, or no, not even the divisional round, losing in the wild card round to some bummy team. It'll be like, oh yeah, Baltimore's at the top of the AFC North this year. Let's go, Baltimore. And then they'll be up against well, let's say they're in second place this year, so they'll have to play the 7th seed. I'm just gonna throw like just a hypothetical seventh place team this year. I don't know who's gonna be like terrible this year, but let's just say that let's just say that well, you got to throw a team at me.
Jaguars. Let's say Jaguars.
You think the Jaguars are gonna be 7th again? I wasn't gonna say that, but I think they're gonna win their division.
Well, they were
so I think they'll.
I guess that's true.
So let's say the Indianapolis Colts decide that they're going to be the 7th seed.
What the heck?
Okay, well, Josh didn't like that.
Indianapolis Colts? You think the Anthony Richardson Indianapolis Colts are going to... Don't put that hope in me. Don't.
Hey, I'm just throwing it out there. You wouldn't give me a team. You're like, Jacksonville. No, we got to think of...
And you said Indianapolis.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a team that's bummy. That was the whole point.
They are bummy. They're not going to make the playoffs, though.
Yeah, exactly. They're bummy.
Oh my gosh, no.
Okay, give me a team that is bummy that is going to that could make potential playoffs. Baltimore is the typical bummy.
The Patriots, maybe.
Yeah, that's actually a good one. See that if one of those well, the Jets, that's
they're in the
50-50.
East.
So, but like
still,
still,
win that division.
Yeah, so yeah, there you go. Patriots. We'll say the Patriots. The bummy Patriots.
Not
there
the
you
Colts.
Go.
I love the Colts, but don't.
Well, the Jaguars are absolutely going to win that division this year. You can't tell me they're not going to win.
The Colts would be lucky to win 6 games.
Well, yeah, but like still, no, you never know what happens. Everyone told the Steelers that they were going to win 2 games, and we ended up almost making playoffs again. And everyone thought Jacksonville was out until they made playoffs and went to the divisional. Anyway,
what's your point?
My point is that Baltimore is going to go in, great season, 2nd place, and they're going to go in to play the New England Patriots and lose because they stink. Once you figure out a way to shut down Lamar Jackson, that's over. I'm noticing that in NHL too. In Edmonton right now. I think game 2 is tonight. I actually don't. I would have to double check. I'm going to double check myself because I don't want to like jump the gun here. Okay, so the one thing that I noticed.
No misinformation on my podcast.
No misinformation. No. But one of the things that I noticed about Edmonton Oilers is that when the Edmonton Oilers with Connor McDavid, when you figure out a way to shut down Connor McDavid, it's very hard for the other players to just play. Like Leon Draisaitl is very good, and some of these other hockey players on that team are very good. But once they figure out a way to stop Connor McDavid, it's very hard for Edmonton to just rally back because Connor McDavid is the whole point of the team. He's very good. He's very talented. He can carry the team on his back. Lamar Jackson can do the same thing. He can throw the ball. He can run the ball. He can scramble. He can do all this garbage. But once you figure out a way to shut down Lamar, it's very hard to get going. Now, the difference between NHL and the NFL is that the NFL, when you figure out a way to shut down the quarterback, that is the whole piece of you, the whole piece of the offense. It's very hard to produce something unless you're playing on defense. Whereas in hockey, if you shut down the player, if you take that intermission to just figure out a way to get the second, third, fourth line guys involved, you could probably still win the game. I mean, they figured that out. The Kings won in overtime. The LA Kings won in overtime in game 1 against Edmonton. And then Edmonton ended up coming back in the game 2 yesterday and winning 4-2. So the series is tied. But in that first game, I feel like they were really shutting down Connor McDavid a lot. Not a ton, because Connor McDavid did do well, but when you slow down a player enough, and that is the captain or somebody that's a big part of the team, it can be very, very bad for the team that relies heavy on them. So I think if once a team figure out, New England, all Bill Belichick has to do is just be oh, Lamar Jackson likes to scramble, do this, and do this. And it's okay. Then he works his defense around it. And the next thing you know, the New England Patriots are going to the divisional round versus Kansas City, I guess, or because it would have to be Kansas City. I can't say the Bengals because in my hypothetical it was the Ravens in the top of the AFC North. So
here's the thing with Lamar. He's very athletic. He's a very good player. My concern isn't so much with how athletic he is or if he's a good player. I think he is a good player, but I think the reason he wants all of this guaranteed money is because there's injury potential there. Of course, understandable. Thing is the dude doesn't make it to the playoff games. He gets injured. He gets hurt. And the way that he plays is very open to that. I have said that from the beginning. He's a scrambler, like you mentioned. He runs. He can pass the ball. I'm not saying he's a running back. I'm not in that camp. But he is a very mobile guy. And something I saw this morning, Josh Allen said, I'm a football player first, I'm a quarterback second in my mind. And he was talking about his athleticism, how he uses his bull rush to just kind of barrel guys over. Same draft class as Lamar. Remember that.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is saying he needs to stop doing that. And Josh Allen is a tank. He's bigger than Lamar. He's less prone to injury than Lamar. If Josh Allen is saying he needs to do that to prevent injury and make his career longer, then obviously Lamar needs to do that as well. And I think Lamar knows that, but for whatever reason, he hasn't been able to do that with the way the game plan is or who they've got around him. But $200 million guaranteed isn't going to help you build a team around you that you can not be mobile for. Do you want a long career with no playoff wins, or do you want do you want a short career with no playoff wins, or a long career with some playoff wins? And
I think Baltimore really should just let the dude walk, man. I know Baltimore was going to be unfortunate, an unfortunate team for the next couple of years, but why deal with this now? Because it's just going to be the same mediocrity in Baltimore for the next couple of years that they've been facing over the last 4 years. And I hate to be like that because it's very pessimistic, but you can't expect a dude in his prime to only get 1-4 to improve from here. It's very hard for me to really thoroughly believe that Lamar Jackson is going to improve his record from 1-4 to 6-4 and 3 Super Bowls or something ridiculous. And it wouldn't be 6-4, but you get what I'm saying. It's really hard for me to believe that. And I think I would have taken my chances just letting Lamar Jackson walk and then going from there and just trying to figure out your next quarterback move, because then you could get a wide receiver. You could get young guys. It sucks to tank and it sucks to be bad, but sometimes you have to do it in order to rebuild. And I think Baltimore should have done that because now they're in a sticky situation with the $200 million guaranteed. if Lamar Jackson gets hurt, if Lamar Jackson starts sucking air because he realizes he can't throw the ball because he's just so used to running all the time. I'm just messing around, but point being is I don't think it's a good move.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, worst case scenario, you've got like Carson Wentz is still out there. If you're
Yeah,
looking for a
I
bridge
mean,
quarterback, I mean, you're not going to be without a quarterback in Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore fans are going to be livid if they let Lamar go, but I cannot. I feel like we're talking in circles now, but like, yeah, you can't justify paying him that much because ultimately the purpose of the game is to win Super Bowls. Everyone goes back to his regular. They're like, he was the MVP in 2019 unanimously. Like, he's a future Hall of Famer. Is he? Is he a future Hall of Famer? Because
he really
he
doesn't have a
hasn't.
whole lot to show for it other than
The
the MVP.
purpose of football of the NFL is to win the Super Bowl. That is your goal, and that is Lamar's goal. Lamar has said that is his goal. But it seems like he is taking the hardest possible route to get there.
And that's his fault.
And he doesn't have an agent, and I don't know if anyone is explaining that to him or telling him that. I would not want the Bengals to take this deal. If Joe Burrow was like, and I love Joe Burrow, I obviously love Joe Burrow, but if Joe Burrow came out and was like, you guys need to give me 200 million guaranteed, no matter what,
Well,
um,
I'm walking.
and my whole contract needs to be guaranteed, or I'm leaving. I'm gonna be like, no, what? Why? We're not gonna give you the entire salary cap.
Yeah,
We have
I think
52
that
other
just
guys we have to pay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't agree with it. I'm sorry, Baltimore Ravens fans. You're gonna have to feel the thunder over the next couple of years of what it's like to be at the bottom with the Browns. So, I mean, I'm not saying that the Steelers are going to be any
Huh.
good,
Which
but
two teams have made stupid quarterback deals in the AFC North? Oh, it's the Browns and the Ravens. Look where they're at.
and they're probably going to be at the bottom of the division.
Shocking.
So, and listen. Like, I'm not saying that the Steelers are going to be better. I mean, for all we know, Baltimore could be 10-7 again, and the Steelers could be 9-8, struggling to get it. But my point being there is that more than likely over the next couple of years, I would probably see the Steelers and the Bengals fighting for the AFC North before I would see Baltimore or Cleveland fighting for that in the next 3 to 5 years. So,
We'll see what happens. The Lamar drama is interesting. The Aaron Rodgers drama is interesting. I'm still waiting. Draft day. Draft day is going to be fun, I think.
yeah, hey, that's next week, dude. That's next
I
week.
know we're going to get a lot of questions answered on draft day.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Lots of questions. And one of those questions that could be answered is, where will Trey Lance be going? Trey Lance was the starter last season for like 2 games. Then he got hurt. And they put Jimmy Garoppolo back in, who they benched for Trey Lance. And Jimmy G played a few games. His first game, he stepped out of bounds on, I think, Thursday Night Football against the Broncos. And Dan Orlovsky was very happy because he was like, I am not the only one to run out of the back of the end zone anymore. Jimmy G ends up getting hurt. They put in Brock Purdy, future of the San Francisco 49ers, who might not even play this season because of his UCL tear in his arm. But they have Sam Darnold on a 1-year contract, which begs the
Yeah,
question.
Sam Darnold. Woo!
Jimmy G is over in the Raiders. Right now, they've got Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy might not play. They have also got Trey Lance, former third overall pick, with guys like Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, that draft, 2021. And the 49ers originally traded their 2022 first rounder, their 2023 first rounder, and a third rounder in 2022 for Lance to get him third overall. He has like started 2 games for them. So now we're playing we've added another person to the quarterback carousel. Where could Trey Lance land? And a popular landing spot I have seen for him is the Minnesota Vikings. And
Yeah, it's funny that the Minnesota Vikings just have never been in any of the talks I feel like that we've ever talked about ever. I don't think
well,
I've
now they are.
I don't even think that team has ever come out of your mouth when we've talked.
I almost mispronounced it, so you could be right.
I
I almost
just
said
don't remember
Minneapolis.
when you said the Minnesota Vikings. I thought you were about to say the Minnesota Wild, which is like my second favorite hockey team. And I
No,
was
the
like, why
Minnesota
are you?
Vikings.
Yeah, no, Minnesota
So
Vikings. Very
I
interesting.
I think if they were to go after Trey Lance, It would be as a backup position, first of all, to compete with Kirk Cousins for the starting position in Minnesota. Kirk's been over in Minnesota for a while. Um, I don't try. I can't say I don't like him because I haven't seen him play that much. But like when I what I have seen from him, I was like, eh, like I'm not that impressed. And everyone goes back to his arm. They're like he has an awesome arm, but like
But we haven't
so did
seen the
Zach
arm. We
Wilson.
haven't
Yeah,
we haven't seen any of it. We haven't seen him play.
Zach
So
Wilson's got a
how
cannon too. Are we gonna start
yeah,
saying we love
but
Zach
Zach
Wilson?
Wilson's cannon also goes 40 yards over the player. So I mean, it's so much for a cannon.
The same thing with Trey Lance could happen though. Like it's and I don't want to hate on him because he's young and he hasn't
Oh
really
yeah,
had the
I mean,
chance.
like, there's no. I'm not hating
So
on
I'm
him
not
either. I
trying to hate
just
on him, but I can't. I hate this trade, and I think the 49ers got bailed out with Brock Purdy, first of all. So that was stupid. I didn't like that they benched Jimmy G after Jimmy G had taken them to a Super Bowl and has always made them competitive. Not to say Jimmy G is the best guy in the world, but it wasn't like he was sucking. And then this guy, he gets his chance and he gets injured. Now he might get traded. Who knows what's going to happen with him? What would you do with Trey Lance in this situation?
I mean, you don't want to. I mean, you can't really hold on to him. I mean, I guess you could, but like he's already like a third string because like if you have Sam Darnold and then, well, you said Brock Purdy isn't supposed to play this year.
He might not play. It, that's
Well,
that's the
then,
thing here.
but who's their backup then?
So it's looking like Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, and then Trey Lance is the order.
Okay, and then if Brock Purdy doesn't play, then it's Sam Darnold, Trey Lance.
Correct.
Okay, honestly, I would hold on to him.
You'd hold on to
I
him.
I would hold on to him just for this season. I mean, because I mean, like I know you wouldn't get anything from him for like a trade because isn't he coming up on like a 4-year deal ending? Isn't his rookie
No, this
contract
would be
almost
his
up?
third year in the league for he's a
Oh,
first
well then
rounder.
yeah, then no, I wouldn't. I would hold on to him because the reason I would hold on to him is just because you would have the extra depth and you would have it just in case Brock Purdy does get hurt again or is out for a decent part of the season. You have Trey Lance as a backup, and if Sam Darnold does really bad, then you have Trey Lance fill in for Sam Darnold, and who knows, maybe Trey Lance ends up being a stud. You can develop his stock, and then you can develop and you can figure out if you want to trade Brock Purdy, who you probably wouldn't, or trade Trey Lance if he does good or if he doesn't. I mean, if he doesn't do good, then you can just trade him for like, a bucket of, fish. But it doesn't really matter at that point. Yeah, I mean, it's just
is that a saying? Did you just make that up?
I just made it up. I was just trying to think. I was
Okay.
gonna say, yeah, I was gonna say a barrel of lettuce first, but a bucket of fish just came out first. So, but like, you could just trade him for a bucket of fish, and that would be it. Or you
What
could
kind of
get like a
fish?
first, salmon.
Oh, so good fish. So like
Yeah, good
he's
fish.
a
I
high
mean, it's
quality
it's
fish.
good fish, but would it benefit the team? Maybe not after they ate it. I mean, how good are the fish? Are they rotting fish? Are
I don't
they
know. It's your analogy.
cooked? So,
I,
but in fairness, so like it could benefit them, by letting him stay on the team. But it either could bump up his trade value or decline the trade value, or it'll keep it, or it keeps it right where he was going to get traded at this point. But I would hold on to Trey Lance for now.
I mean, yeah. I guess I really don't know. Like this isn't me like pretending to not know. Like I honestly don't know because they made a stupid trade, they dug themselves into a hole. I don't know what the offers are that apparently multiple teams have called it to ask about Trey Lance. I don't know what they're offering. The way I see it, if you can get a first rounder though for Trey Lance, I say you take that.
Yeah, but it
Um,
also depends on the year because if like this year, most teams aren't going to try to trade away their first round pick this year. But next year, like it might depend because then you're like, oh well, the Jacksonville Jaguars are trading me a first round pick. Not that this is true, but like, oh, the Jacksonville Jaguars are trading me a first round pick. Well, it's going to be like, all right, well, we drafted Trey Lance in the first, 10 picks. Um, would getting Jacksonville's pick be worth it if they make it to the AFC Championship? If they get like the 28th pick, like would that be worth it? I mean, maybe, but
I think
it's
you'd trade
something
him.
that the 49ers would have to figure out.
you'd almost want to trade with an NFC team because the AFC is going to be so unpredictable.
Fair enough. Yeah,
Like the whole AFC is going to be the bottom of next year's draft, I think.
probably.
Like, but yeah, that's a hard one. I know a lot of people that are really big on Trey Lance, and I've never been that guy. That I was just like, same with like Malik Willis, was never big on him.
Well, I was never big on Malik Willis, but for me, I never really saw. I never with Malik Willis. Like I remember like researching him and stuff. Trey Lance, I never really researched him too much. And then he came to the NFL, barely ever played, and I was just like, okay, like I just it's almost like I have no opinion of him, more or less.
The
It's like
guy I thought,
I don't have either side for me for saying Trey Lance. So
the guy who I thought was going to break out from that draft last year was Zach Wilson from that first round. And like both sides were wrong. Trey Lance didn't break out. Zach Wilson didn't break out. Zach Wilson like decided to be an idiot. So
I mean, there's
Zach
still
Wilson's
time.
Zach Wilson is at training camp though, and Aaron Rodgers
That's
is not. So
yeah,
who
you're right.
knows? It's wide open in the NFL.
The NFL has just become wilder and wilder year by year.
Yep.
I remember the
Um,
simpler days back in 2013 where there were barely any trades and the most exciting thing was free agency.
back when Tyler Eifert was a free agent. I
Yeah.
learned in baseball you can trade during the game. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's like a guy got traded like mid game, and they're like, "You can't play anymore." It's like apparently, and so I asked, I was like, "Has anyone ever been traded to another team that team was playing at the time, and can they just like go over and start playing for the other team?" And apparently, a while ago, you used to be able to do that.
Huh.
Like
I actually did not know that.
according to my friends who are baseball fans, I did not research that myself, but that'd be really funny if like Aaron Judge got traded from the Yankees. They would never do that, but if gets traded to like the Red Sox randomly and they're playing each other and he's just all of a sudden like, give me a Red Sox jersey, I'm hitting.
Yeah. I mean, that would just be really.
Just
I
hitting
didn't. I mean,
dingers.
I watch baseball, but I didn't know about
I
that.
think that'd be. Imagine if the NFL did that.
NFL would be crazy. It'd be crazy. I mean, because like you could just imagine it just be like, it's like you're watching the sideline and it's just like Lamar Jackson takes off his helmet and then just like
He
walks
just
over.
jogs
Yeah, he
across
just
to
like
this
across the
other
field. He's
field.
like, what the hell is Lamar Jackson doing? And it's
He's
like,
reading
oh, wait a
playbook.
second, he's taking off his shirt. Oh man, he's putting on a Colts jersey. No way. Lamar Jackson just got traded. And we have no information on on the details of this trade, ladies and gentlemen. What is happening here tonight on Monday Night Football? It'd be
Exactly.
crazy.
That'd be
It'd be
wild. You
crazy.
know what? I have a suggestion for the NFL.
You know, that kind of reminds me. I think we talked about it on the show the one time. I don't remember. I know me and you have talked about it before, but it reminds me of the no information on trades or free agents or retirements in the NFL. The NFL just ends and then the season
Oh,
begins,
yeah.
where it's
Yeah.
just like it's like New England Patriots fans see Tom Brady walking down the tunnel in the 2020 season or whatever, coming out of
The
Tampa Bay tunnel,
Buccaneers
and everyone's like,
Stadium.
and they're like, and everyone's asking questions on seeing, Ben Roethlisberger retiring, Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco, Russell Wilson in Denver, like,
They don't even
Seattle
show
fans
the
expecting to
draft.
see Russell Wilson run out of the tunnel in Seattle, but then they get Geno Smith instead.
They don't show the draft, and like Brock Purdy just comes out of the tunnel, and everyone's like, "Who the heck is this guy?"
Yeah, exactly.
This is just a
So,
random fan who put on a jersey.
yeah. So, well, I mean, I feel like the draft, because you would know the top picks, but you wouldn't know who got drafted.
Exactly.
And then in the seventh round, they're just like, is that like a guy from like Clemson or something? Like, who is this guy? And then they're like, oh no, he's Mr. Irrelevant apparently. Oh, information comes out as they play. It's just like it's so stupid.
Aaron Rodgers is a Jet now. What happened to Zach Wilson? He's the Browns' water boy.
Yeah, he's in Cleveland again. Cleveland's stocking up on quarterbacks, and then you look at Cleveland's roster, and it's just Deshaun Watson, Zach Wilson, Paxton Lynch, just like all the most random quarterbacks ever. Johnny Manziel, they're bringing him back.
Oh,
They've decided Johnny Manziel is going to come back.
Jamarcus
You know,
Russell's back.
yeah, yep. DeMar DeRozan, he's coming back. They're bringing Carson Palmer out of retirement too.
Woo! Carson Palmer said Joe Burrow is better than Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, wow. I actually do
Carson,
remember that. I know
Carson
that
Palmer
article.
out here spitting facts. That's all I got though. I'm good with ending the show on that. Joe
Yeah,
Burrow's better
that's
than Patrick
fine.
Mahomes. Okay. Uh, thank you for listening to today's show. If you enjoyed, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Especially subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Whether you're on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, wherever. We can be found anywhere you listen to podcasts and on YouTube at No Buts About It, No Buts Show. Our social media pages are NoButs_show on Instagram and NoButsShow on TikTok. And Chus still isn't posting on the TikTok, but we will eventually in the future.
Honestly, I don't really know what to do with the TikTok, to be completely honest.
I don't use TikTok.
I also don't use TikTok that much. So for me to get ideas from TikTok to make a TikTok is really goofy for me.
I'm an
So,
old man, so
well, it's not even that it's not even that it's an old man. It's just I'm not a big fan of TikTok. I get my same TikTok thrill from YouTube Shorts and the Instagram scrolling.
well,
So Reels.
well, what I do use is Twitter, and my Twitter is Josh_Butts_2001. And if you would like to reach us, if you would like to yell at us and tell us, hey, Lamar Jackson is the greatest quarterback of all time, you can email us at bullmoosepodcast2. That's the number 2 at gmail.com. Finally, our spread shop where you can buy some merch. That link will be in the description. You can buy stickers that say let somebody cook. You can buy shirts that say let somebody cook. You can buy an apron that says let somebody cook. I mean, you got those summer barbecues coming up. Might as well support the show while you're at it. That link will be in the description. Make sure to check it out. Once again, if you enjoyed today's show, like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, go do something nice for someone, and see ya.